I'm going to invite to the stage our first speakers, Martina Donlon from the United Nations and Alessandro from AWorld. Round of applause. Alright, so let me know when I should advance the slides, or I can also give you the quick note here. Yes. So, Martina, this is your second time here, and as well as Alessandro, and I want to have a conversation on individual action, because sometimes we hear, well, individual action doesn't matter, and so we have someone from the UN, we have someone from the private sector to talk to us about individual action. So I'm going to start off. Martina, everyone knows the UN, but maybe they're less familiar about Act Now. So for the first time they're going to be hearing it today, can you tell us about the Act Now program?
Great. Okay, great. Yeah, it's really nice to be back. Thanks for having me. I work at the United Nations, and you may wonder what does that have to do with individual action, because we're an intergovernmental organization. So we deal first and foremost with national governments, right? We're an organization of member states, and we deal with problems that transcend borders, such as climate change. But all our goals, really achieving our goals, be it peace, equality, a healthy planet, all of that depends on participation and support from the people, right? We can't do anything without public support. Governments will not move without public support and pressure from the people. And that's why we've started reaching out more and more directly to the people. Because the people want to be part of the solution, they can be part of the solution, and we know that it's very important that they are. So Act Now is the individual action campaign that the UN launched a few years back at one of the climate conferences. And it's grown to be the individual action campaign actually on many other issues as well, but we want to focus on carbon and climate here. So, and I should be advancing the slides. So very much in line with the mission of this summit, which is carbon literacy, explaining what are carbon emissions, how is climate change human caused, and what can we do. We very much explain those concepts as part of Act Now, and we always go back to the root cause of climate change, which is fossil fuel dependence, as you can see in this quote. And therefore, the solution is tackling fossil fuel dependence, getting rid of fossil fuels, and moving over to renewable energy, wind, solar, etc. And that's just one of the solutions where individuals can take part. But we really have three main areas of Act Now, and the three main areas where individuals can make a difference. And those are energy, transport, and food. And you can see these beautiful illustrations in the back. That Michelle helped create, so thank you for those. So on the Act Now page, you go to un.org/Act Now. You will find very concrete actions that you as an individual can take, be it saving energy, moving to more wind and solar in your own home, walking, biking instead of driving, etc., and eating more plant-based and wasting less food. And all of that is also has some concrete numbers on our website that tell you how much carbon emissions you'll actually save. So we hope you check it out. And is anything on that slide? Yeah. I think that was my slide. I will end here.
Wonderful. And yeah, we did have the privilege of working with Martina and her team to produce 3 guides that reduce heating, transportation, and food as well. So it's really a fun partnership with the UN. Now I'm going to go over to Alex. AWorld has been a really key partner to Act Now. Can you tell us about AWorld?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having us again sitting here. This is the most exciting venue and event all Climate Week we can do. So I really love it. Okay, I'm going to start with a question. It's a little cheesy, but sorry for this. Raise your hand if you really, really care about the environment. Should be raised. This is in the right place, okay? Let me tell you, I don't fully believe you, but it's not your fault. As humans, we're just wired like this. There's a huge attention behavior gap that we need to solve. As Martina said, people want to take action. 70% of the people want take action now. We have an inner feeling that says I should do something, but we're missing something that takes us from point A to point B. Sustainability is sometimes complicated. I fail to see the impact of my daily actions. What is the difference between taking the car and taking the public transportation to get here? And then, let's be honest, I'm missing an incentive. I mean, what's in it for me? People still have a hard time to relate all of this, all these social and environmental prices to my own lifestyle. So what we did is build a digital tool, which is a free app that you can find on un.org/act now, which wants to incentivize you, wants to do three major things. It wants to help you measure and keep track of your carbon footprint. Well, I'm in the right place today. It wants to give you tips and knowledge, and then it wants to tell you how to take action and what is the low-hanging fruit also, what you can take in your daily life, where you can have a positive impact and hopefully reduce the carbon footprint. All of this is a gamified experience, so imagine a Duolingo of sustainability that helps you also track your carbon footprint, which today reached 23 million climate actions across the entire world, app downloaded in every country of the world.
Now, back to the topic of individual action. So, it's good to be a little inflammatory. I get asked a lot, does individual action really matter? BP invented the carbon footprint, they popularized it, we need to have top-down change, not bottom-up. What do you think about that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, Martina.
It's a question we get a lot too. Like, why do we even have an Act Now campaign? It's because we see systemic change and individual action go hand in hand. As I said before, governments are not going to move if there's no pressure from people. As citizens, as consumers, as voters, we have power. We can use our voice, use our vote, use our wallet to make choices that matter. And in an aggregate, that if millions of people do that, it matters, and it will move things, and it will move the decision makers that need to move. And without that pressure, we're not going to see any movement. So for us, it goes hand in hand. It's not about putting the blame on consumers, not at all. The ultimate goal is systemic change. Will always be. We need policy changes, we need regulatory changes, we need industry to change, we need the big changes to happen, but they won't happen without the people. And through the Act Now campaign and people being able to log actions through the app, we get the numbers to show people are moving, people are ready, and leaders, it's your time to move as well.
Yeah, as Martina said, it's our actions. Many times it's our vote. We vote our leaders, and leaders should do what we voted for, and it's systemic change that goes along with individual action. If you need to talk about the carbon footprint, yes, it was created by the oil and gas, but it's also the most measurable thing we could do. I mean, it's not the only measurable thing, but it's the closest to something measurable. I mean, with the carbon footprint is divided in 4 areas. It's what we eat, how we move around, the energy that we use, and what we buy. And it's very easy because as humans we need to have something measurable, to have something that we can measure in order to then reduce it. If we can measure it, we can then improve it. I don't think though carbon should be the only thing we should measure. There's a lot of other impact that an individual could have. I mean, by sharing, by talking about this, that's all the impact. Your knowledge is part of your impact. I mean, all of this, difficult to measure, of course, at the individual level. But at least it's something that we can put our heads around, analyze, being as precise as we can. Of course, mobility can be measured. There are solutions that help us track your electricity spend at home. There are startups like Economy that we work with that they help you track your emissions with your credit card spend. Food is a little bit more difficult, but we might be trading an AI algorithm where you can take a picture to your meal and it'll tell you your carbon footprint. So at least we have something to start with, and then it's a great way because it gives us an index and then we can hopefully reduce that.
And I'm just going to add a little bit of color that carbon footprint is data and facts. It wasn't invented by anyone in particular, just like we have water footprint, land footprint, right? VP popularized it, and they were the first to kind of put out messaging on it that maybe the individual is responsible, which is really unfortunate. Maybe they should have done a better job, but carbon footprint is data and facts, and I think individual action is really important, and we just don't have time. We just need as much as possible. Right? So the other piece I also get asked about is how do you measure the impact of carbon? How many people have went vegan because they did your carbon footprint quiz or maybe attended your workshop, and I will say it's really hard to quantify because someone has to hear something 7 times before they actually maybe understand or take action. So I'm curious with that now, with AWorld, how do you measure your impact?
Okay, for the slide. This was a week ago, so now it's over 23 million actions. Where we have an amazing campaign going on this week. Again, carbon footprint is the first questionnaire that will tell us, it will tell you where your impact is. The app now has a mobility assistant. It's optional, but if you want to switch it on, it tells you, hey Alex, today you've been driving, today you've been on a plane, and today you've been walking. Maybe not on the same day. And it's going to tell you exactly what are your CO2 emissions and what are your CO2 savings. So that's something that tells us, because we also have to say that the carbon footprint today, as it is, it's the first number that tells us the impact. But it doesn't really tell us, it doesn't really change. If you think about it, it gives us a number. So if I'm still a human being, I go out there and I live. If I'm living, I have an impact. And second, it's not really telling me how to reduce that. So we need to also work on the second and third part. When it comes to measuring impact, luckily with Martina and help with UN CCC over a few summers ago, in August, I remember those that summer, we developed some actions that are listed in the app. There's most around 150 actions, which can tell you the impact of actually where you move around, when you're eating. Lights at home, energy, how can you save light? And there's small things that sometimes you just think, I didn't know this, or I have known this. But then the app is here to remind you, because we know that we're all busy, to log some of these actions too. The more you log, the more your impact grows. The future is trying to aggregate this out. So just like the mobility, you don't have to tell us anything, your phone has to relate, so just take that. For now, you still have to tell us maybe what you're eating and how you use energy at home, or there's other tips like one way of work, for example. Switching off your camera to a Zoom call could be a real thing, but it's safe, so no one knows that. Downloading music on your Spotify locally on your phone instead of reading it is an impact. Maybe you can action documents to them. So although those of these, come and check them out. There's a lot on the US homepage too. Maybe you want to.
Yeah, just to add in terms of the overall impact campaign, we're seeing that number, that 23 million number grow and grow and grow really fast, and that's so encouraging. And the fact that the app has been downloaded in every country of the world, and we're seeing a real movement, and we're seeing a real interest in this campaign from influencers on social media, from people all over the world. And just that, I think, for us is really important to see that there is so much demand for this kind of information, for people want to get involved.
You will see on the map that Italy is first. Yes, we are very active, but also we're an Italian company, so it's much easier to get the message across.
I mean, it's nice that you have an app, Alex, right? Because you can measure are people active users, what are they doing in there? So yeah, it's a really good way to measure. So my last question to the two of you is, what's next right now? What's next for AWorld? What should we get excited about?
For us, I think the next big moment will be the UN Climate Conference happening in November. As you know, there's an annual conference, the COP, which maybe some of you are following. This one will be in mid-November, and it's really the moment in the year where all leaders come together, world leaders come together, and it's a big moment to put pressure on world leaders to make steps in the right direction. The steps may be incremental, but we're getting bit by bit. We are getting there. It's diplomacy. It's slow. It's tedious. But this is a really important moment to put pressure on leaders, and we want ACT Now to be there, to be really strong, to be the voices of people, to be strong. That's why one of our key actions actually is to speak up. So in addition to the energy, the food, and the transport, it's, as Alex also mentioned, it's speaking up, talking to your friends and family, writing a letter to your government, however you can, put pressure, please do it, and if you can log in the app, even better. And we can build this movement of pressure as we go into the climate conference. That's our next big moment, and I hope we can all be part of it.
On our side, it's technology companies, we need to say the word AI, so it's not to say it, okay? So I'll be the first. Two things. We're allowing organizations to take action with the app for ACT Now. So if you have a company, if you have you work in a school, if you just need family, come join us and build your community. We leverage the power of community, which is will have amazing impact. And then when it comes to AI, we just released our biggest update ever. Which uses AI to personalize individual journeys. And if you think about it, all of our Netflix account here all completely different. A lot of social media here are completely different because we are different and we like different things. And one size doesn't fit all the people. And we need to really personalize the journey, because the more personalized the journey is, the better engagement we have. And this hopefully, with the help of our new mascot, which is called Quick, will help you relate, will help you give you tailored messages for you, give you missions, and hopefully rewards in the future. Because the higher the personalization of the journey is, we see the higher the engagement, and we're excited about this.
So the TLDR is Individual Action Matters. You can download AWorld and take actions today. Thank you, Martina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro.